everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner, joined by Christian Morgan in studio, Eric Chilton and Tahisha Moyes, both working from home this afternoon. Of course, as always, we are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world. That's why we live stream the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Use our hashtag 4 to 5 to stay connected. Well, let's get right into it this afternoon. High school students at High Point Christian Academy are now in online classes only. The school has several cases of coronavirus. The school switched to remote learning on Monday afternoon, and school leaders say all extracurriculars, including sports, are canceled for 2 weeks. Parts of the school are now being cleaned. Officials say not all of the coronavirus cases are connected, and high school students will be allowed back on campus October 12th. Right now, Guilford County Schools parents have two options: send their kid back to school or enroll them in the virtual academies. But a survey sent to parents last night listed a third option: remote learning through their individual school. Now, the district says it's not on the table right now and it may never be, but it caught some parents off guard.
I was a little surprised to see it just based on from watching the school board meetings, but it is something I don't think we have considered or probably will consider.
Becky Casey plans to send her first grader Avery back to Northern Elementary School next month. She never considered enrolling her in the district's virtual academy because she says Northern has been amazing. With the uncertainty of coronavirus, she considered keeping Avery at home but didn't want her to lose out on Northern's teachers. Meanwhile, Courtney Willis's son Berkeley is at Brown Summit Middle School. Now that school already has the option of remote learning through the school. For months, she's been advocating for that choice to be available to all families.
The virtual academy doesn't feel like it would be the best option for our family. So I don't know if we would homeschool or pursue some other option. It is hard to think hypothetically in that way, but I know a lot of families they can't homeschool, they can't send their children to a private school, and yet they don't feel safe.
All right, so once again, the district says individual remote learning is not an option for all schools right now. They're just seeing how many people would be interested.
Pre-K and kindergarten students return to Guilford County schools today on a voluntary basis. You can see the students wearing their masks inside the buildings. Pre-K and kindergarten students are allowed to return for half days until now until October 20th. That is the first full day for pre-K through second grade students. Other grades are returning to their classrooms at different dates. And we have the details of Guilford County Schools re-entry plan on our website. You can find this story under the Education tab on WFMYnews2.com.
So take a look at this. Florence Elementary School's principal decided to share what these kindergarten classrooms will look like when kids get back into the schools this year. And obviously, they're practicing some good social distancing here. Look at the desks. They were spaced about 6 feet apart. We could see that in her video. The kindergarten information session, by the way, for that school for Florence, it is tomorrow. There is one from noon to 1. There is another one, in case you're interested, from 4 to 5.
And weather-wise across the Triad, continuing to track a line of rain and storms, getting closer to the Triad as we head throughout the rest of the evening. Let's show you here now on our satellite and radar composite. You can see they're all moving off to the northeast. Right now, the only severe thunderstorm warning we've had so far, this is in Montgomery County for the storm moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. It is capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and there were some early signs of rotation, so we'll keep a close eye on that as we head over the next few minutes. That lasts until 4:15. The other band of heavy rain and storms I'm watching is really from Forsyth County all the way through Davidson County and down into Rowan County. Again, everything, if you take note of this radar, everything is moving off to the northeast so far today. So this is a slow moving line of storms, and we'll continue to watch it through about 7 o'clock tonight. Our main concerns, of course, are going to be for some damaging wind gusts. I'm not as concerned as I was earlier about the possibility of flash flooding. These storms really aren't sitting over one area for so long, but we will keep in, although low, there is some risk of an isolated tornado across the area as we head throughout the rest of the evening. Generally moving through the immediate triad around the dinner time hour and the evening commute, but I really think by about 7 o'clock it's cleared us and we do start to clear out and quiet down overnight. Pretty diverse temperature map too. You can see where that cold front has already brought temperatures in the 50s to our mountains. We're still sitting at the 70s here in the triads. Overnight showers will continue, eventually coming to an end and clearing overnight. We'll be in the low 50s for your Wednesday. It actually ends up being a pretty nice day of weather. A bit breezy at times, but sunny and cool with afternoon highs in the upper 60s.
The first of 3 presidential debates is tonight. President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden are in Cleveland for the debate. Now, the topics for tonight's debate include as follows: President Trump's and Biden's tax records, the Supreme Court, their records in general, right? Also the coronavirus, the economy, race and violence across our nation, and the integrity of the election. You can watch tonight's debate right here on WFMY News 2 starting at 9. The second debate is scheduled for October 15th and the third debate October 22nd. And Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence will also be debating. The vice presidential debate is October 7th.
Now let's take a look at your 4 to 5 roundup. High Point police are looking for 2 people and arrested a third person after they say someone shot an officer. Officers went to Pond Haven Drive this morning around 5:30 after reports of car break-ins. Police say one of their officers went up to a reportedly stolen Audi sedan and asked the driver to roll down the window. The officer says the driver refused at first, but then opened the door and shot at the officer. Police say the officer was not hit by the bullet and returned to their patrol car and returned fire. Police say another car then drove onto the scene, picked up the driver who shot at the officer and drove away. Police identified the man they caught as 19-year-old Nicorey Rogers. He's charged in connection with this morning's events and had warrants for several break-ins in Graham, Mebane, and Durham. This is a developing story. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland is digging deeper into the investigation coming up at 5. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron says he will release recordings of the grand jury proceedings in the Breonna Taylor investigation. Those recordings are expected to be released to the court tomorrow. A judge ordered their release as part of an investigation into the jury's decision to only charge one former police officer involved in the shooting. Officer Brett Hankinson is charged with blindly shooting a gun into a nearby apartment. No officers involved were directly charged in Taylor's death. It is unclear if those proceedings will be made public. Target is now challenging Amazon Prime on Prime Day. The company announced Target Deal Days will happen on October 13th and 14th at the same time as the 2-day Amazon Prime event. Target says they'll have digital deals during the 2 days. They say they will also offer Black Friday deals throughout November, and they'll extend their price match guarantee beyond 14 days. It will now last from November 1st until Christmas Eve. And check out this new interactive mural in downtown Greensboro. Cool stuff. The temporary mural in LeBauer Park is designed to make up for missing the in-person celebration of National Dance Day GSO. So you can go out there, bust a move, and show off your best moves on the interactive mural. Wake Forest Baptist Health is now enrolling patients in phase 2 clinical coronavirus trials. They're researching if other drugs approved for other treatments can be used to treat patients battling severe cases of coronavirus. Several possible drug treatments will be tested at the same time. Multiple drugs identified can either neutralize the virus or help heal organ malfunctions that make people susceptible to the coronavirus. Wake Forest Baptist Health is the first health system in the nation to enroll patients.
After the break, friends and family are mourning the loss of a Davidson County basketball player who lost his life due to coronavirus. How people are remembering Chad Dorrell next on your 4 to 5.
This is something that, if your eyes haven't been opened yet, this is an eyes wide open moment.
A Triad community is mourning the death of a young athlete. 19-year-old Chad Dorrell passed away last night after a battle with COVID-19. Dorrell graduated from Ledford High in 2019 before heading to App State. He was a guard and forward on the basketball team. His former coach, Jason Anderson, describes Dorrell as a selfless person. And although he's not supposed to have favorites, he says Dorrell was easy to love.
As a coach at any level, that's the type of kid you want. You know, not just in basketball, but in life. I mean, he was the kind of kid that you want your own children to hang around with. He's a good influence.
Dorrell was honored yesterday at Ledford High School. Coach Anderson changed the scoreboard to have it reflect Dorrell's number 10. Coach Anderson says Dorrell was an otherwise healthy person before COVID, which is why it's hard to understand his death. His mother released a statement with the Piedmont Pacers, another team Dorrell played for, that said in part, the doctor said that Chad is the rarest 1 in 10 million case. But if it can happen to a super healthy 19-year-old boy who doesn't smoke, vape, or do drugs, it can happen to anyone. Coach Anderson says there is something we all can do to prevent a death like Dorrell's from happening again.
We just need to unite and come together and agree that we're going to do things to protect each other. And it doesn't matter if you're young, old, put the mask on. Do it for yourself, do it for the people around you. And that's Susan's message, his mother and his father. They just want people to take note.
Coach Anderson says the next basketball season will be dedicated to Chad Dorrell.
All right, up next is time to pig out in Jamestown, how you can get your barbecue fix and still help families in need. During the break, we need you to chat with us. I want to know, what is your favorite barbecue place in the Triad? We're coming back. So it is a long-standing fundraiser in the Jamestown area that gets people all pumped up here. And of course, we're talking about the Jamestown pig picking, in case you're not familiar with that. It's been going on for more than 10 years now. This year, that event still features the same perfect barbecue platter with all the fixings, but the delivery system, that's a little bit different. I spoke with organizer Mark Whitesell, and he says they're ready to serve. Mark, so let's talk about, you've been doing this event for 11 years. Let's talk about what it used to be and how big it is, and then what are you guys going to do this year? But let's start out with the way it used to be.
We used to have a event that would have over 500 people, and and it's gotten bigger every year, but unfortunately with the COVID-19, we just can't have that event this year. So we thought it was, going to be tough, and it has been tough, but this year we've offered to do a pig picking party packs. So we're doing the 4 Ps rather than the 3 Ps. So, but we're giving, so everybody that sponsored this year, we're giving them, they could come do a drive-through and pick up barbecue chicken and barbecue from Barbecue Joe's with a couple sides and a dessert.
Nowadays, everybody, you just have to get things done the best you can. That's kind of like what the world we're in right now. But all of this benefits a great cause, correct?
It does. We're raising money for family services, and this year, just the law enforcement calls are up 30%, where family services helps domestic violence, child abuse, mental health, financial stability. And so what we raise money for is we help over 17,000 clients in the Piedmont Triad area.
That's great, Mark. Good stuff, man. Best of luck. Look, anytime there's food involved, I'm in. So maybe I'll see you.
Sounds good. And Eric, we've got one last week that we can try to get some silent auction things, so everybody can try to log in on October 9th for the silent auction.
Perfect. Have a good one, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate your help.
Yeah, it's great stuff. They're doing great stuff. And by the way, if you need more information on this, because you want the barbecue, right? You just go to this story on WFNYnews2.com. We got it there. They also have a silent auction, so make sure you check it out.
I will say I love barbecue at all times of the year, especially if it's North Carolina barbecue. But there's something about right when it turns fall and football is on television and the leaves are changing, that's when I really want barbecue.
You can smell the hickory smoke. Oh, that's the best.
Of course, Chilton did this story. Tahisha, are we not surprised?
No, we're not. And every time he does a story like that, my stomach conveniently lets me know that I'm hungry. But, I love what they're doing. And hey, if it's another reason to eat, why not?
I like that. If it's another reason to eat, why not? It's my motto.
Yeah, and he made a good point. Family services does so much for our community, especially when it comes to domestic violence situations. And we have heard reports throughout the pandemic that unfortunately those numbers are up because people are staying inside more and they might be around abusers more often. I know that is a serious and hard turn to make here, but it is something that needs to be addressed. All right, the 4 to 5 is coming back right after this. You can join our conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just use our hashtag 4 to 5.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Can you hear me?
And taking a look outside, continuing to track a line of rain and storms moving across the Triad. I did want to show you this time lapse over downtown Winston-Salem. You can see very clearly right where that line of storms starts to move in. There it is right there, and you can see a blast of really a wall of rain moving in with it. And over the next 30 minutes to an hour, that line of rain and storms will be making its way into the immediate Triad. Let's show you this radar and satellite composite. The heaviest rain really right now from Winston-Salem through Davidson County through Lexington, and that's what we're tracking. This is the heaviest rain and also the possibility of being the strongest thunderstorms that we'll see. There's some gusty winds. There's also quite a bit of lightning in these storms as well. But if we zoom out even a little bit further, you can see really the motion of this rain today has been off to the north and northeast. Very quickly, things are moving at about 50 to 55 miles per hour. And very easy to see back to the west, it's already clearing in parts of Tennessee. So I really think by late tonight and into the overnight hours, we'll start to even get rid of our clouds. Mainly over the next few hours until about 7 o'clock tonight. Now until about 7 is going to really be the sweet spot for our heaviest rain and the possibility of those stronger thunderstorms. Mainly watching for a damaging wind concern. I'm not as concerned about the flash flooding risk now as I was earlier. These storms really aren't sitting over one area for that long. Still, we'll watch for that. And even though it's not nothing, there still is a low end threat of a tornado. But as we head over the next couple hours, our severe weather threat is really going to start to go downhill. As far as rain totals go, generally half an inch to about 3/4 of an inch so far where this line of rain has moved through. And I think generally around the Triad areas, around an inch is going to be a good bet. Of course, there could be some locally higher amounts where those heavier thunderstorms do start to pop off. Again, this is really going to be a dinner time evening commute storm for us here in the Triad. And then by about 7 o'clock, it starts to push east of us. And I think we're all done with the rain. Already back into the 50s to the western portions of the Piedmont. We're still stuck in the 70s here in the Triad. Over the next 7 days, once this gets out of here tonight, fall weather makes a return. Dry, cooler, heading into the end of the week and into the weekend.
Coffee lovers, it is our day. We can celebrate with a big cup of Joe or several cups of Joe. My second empty cup of Joe is sitting over there. It's National Coffee Day. On the top of all the freebies you can get today, we wanted to know, how do you like your coffee? A lot going on in this picture, but social media guru Jalen Gilkey is breaking it down for us. Jalen, I actually don't know if you drink coffee or not. Do you?
No, Maddie, not a big coffee guy. I'm just naturally super energetic. It's my natural kind of vibe that I have. But we got a lot of comments, a lot of different preferences out there. Our first comment comes from Nick. He says, definitely F6. It's the only thing that gets me through the day. Every day should be International Coffee Day. And then we have a comment that comes from Bill. Bill prefers his coffee strong and black with no flavoring, no cream, or no sugar. Our next comment comes from Amy. She says E1, and she's got to have her pumpkin spice creamer. I think that's right up your alley there, Maddie. And then our last comment comes from Linda. She says D4, I love my coffee.
That sounds delicious. Okay, Christian, pop quiz, because before the show started, he asked me how I liked my coffee, and I told him, and what did I say?
I forgot.
Get out of here.
There was almond milk in it, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got that much right.
Iced coffee, no sugar, almond milk. You got a fancy coffee today.
I got a fancy coffee downtown Greensboro. Shout out to our friends at Union Coffee downtown. Off their fall menu, the maple and smoke latte. It was excellent.
Sounds super fancy. Tahesha, you're a cold brew gal. See, I remember people's coffee orders.
I remember half of it.
Yes, but today I didn't actually have the cold brew. I did have Starbucks. I ground the coffee myself, and instead of making cold brew, I just made it today. Because cold brew you have to make ahead of time, and I didn't make it ahead on Sunday. So no coffee, no cold brew for me today. Still good though, what I had.
I love all kinds of coffee. I'll take anything I can get. Hot, cold.
As long as it's got no sugar and almond milk. See, I got it this time.
Write that down. And then next time we do a coffee run, you're in charge.
All right,
just
deal.
for that reason alone. Hey, share with us how you like your coffee. Maybe you're like Jalen, you're naturally energetic.
It's me.
That man. All right, use our hashtag 4to5. We'll be right back. Mic check, Maddie. Mic check, Maddie. Are we getting some tunes? Is my mic on? Oh, there. Hey, there she is.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mic check. Hello, hello. I remembered Maddie's coffee now.
Oh, wait a sec. I think my camera is slightly crooked. Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well, hello, fine people. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is usually when my audio goes crazy, so we'll see.
Hey, a couple things I want to accomplish during this mic check. Number 1, Christian, do you know my coffee order? You should by now. And number 2, did you all know the most abused drug in the world is caffeine? How about that?
Good afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Eric Chilton and Tahisha Moyes this afternoon, both working from home. As always, we want to connect with you throughout the show. Join our live streams on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and use our hashtag 4 to 5 to stay connected. Well, Christian Morgan is also here with us today on the 4 to 5. He's keeping an eye on the forecast. And Christian, we're already starting to see some storms move through the area.
Yeah, Maddie, we are. We're finally seeing that line of rain and storms that we've been talking about the last couple days make its way into the Triad. Still not bad in Greensboro and really the immediate portion of the Triad, but back to the west, places like Winston-Salem, Lexington, Forsyth, and Davidson County. That's where we're seeing the heaviest rain and also these thunderstorms right now. There's quite a bit of lightning in these storms and some gusty winds, but there's nothing severe on the map right now. We did have an earlier severe thunderstorm warning in Montgomery County, but that has been allowed to expire. If we zoom out on a wider view of this radar, you can see the general motion of these storms is really off to the northeast, and that's because they're all riding right along the edge of that front. And if you take a look back to the west, there's a pretty sharp cutoff from clear to clouds where the back side of that front is moving through. And I really think by about 7 o'clock, we're going to be clearing out here in the Triad. Mainly watching for a damaging wind concern, also a brief flash flooding concern. I'm not as concerned about that as I was earlier. And although it's nothing, it's a very low threat of an isolated tornado somewhere across the area. Rain totals back to the west, generally between ½ an inch and an inch of rain so far. That would be about what we see with this line as it comes through the Triad. Starts to push east of us by about 7 o'clock just after dinner. And then I think as we head through the overnight hours, we're really going to clear out quite quickly as we head into your Wednesday. And it ends up being a really nice day of weather. A bit on the breezy side from time to time, but sunny and temperatures much cooler in the upper 60s. We keep the nice fall weather around as we head into the weekend.
The first of 3 presidential debates is tonight at 9 o'clock. We will see President Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Joe Biden go head to head. So I asked you on my Facebook page, do you plan to watch? Let's take a look at what you had to say. Mixed reaction here. Janice Stanley said, I hope everyone will watch with an open mind to judge between the candidates, not party against party. Diane Milton said, yes, can't wait. There's so much information I need to know from both candidates before I make my decision. Susie Jordan said, not sure my blood pressure can take it. Matthew said it would be better if we had better choices. And Leah Slaughter said, I've been waiting for this for months. Lauren Randall says no, he's not watching. He knows who he is voting for, and nothing will change that. So guys, I think a lot of people are excited for the first of 3 debates. I'm not sure the interest will stick around for the second and third one, but a lot of people want to see how these candidates are around each other because we've seen so many different versions of both men who are running from office.
Oh, for sure. I remember when we had the debates last time. They were very interesting to watch, and I hope to be able to watch it. I don't really have live TV service, so I have to figure that out. Maybe get some bunny ears so I can watch it. But I'm sure we'll be learning a lot more about these candidates.
We've got to get you a high definition antenna. That's what you need, Tahisha. That's easy.
That's what
I'll
I
hook
need.
you up. Yeah. Okay. Basically, what I want to say is that this will be entertaining. It doesn't matter what side you're on, because I think these two figures are going to be going at it pretty hard. So I think all of these debates will be pretty entertaining. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, and so much has happened within the last week that they will be able to talk about tonight. And so I think a lot of people are on the edge of their seats to hear about the tax return report that we saw earlier this week, as well as filling that vacant Supreme Court justice seat on the bench. So a lot of big issues to cover tonight, as well as what many people and Eric are saying, that entertainment factor.
It really is. There'll be some jabs. We'll see how it goes. And I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning in, just like they will to the Panthers. Yeah, guess what, Panther fans? This Sunday is about to be just a little bit different than what we're used to. Now, the team is doing everything they can to make sure that it's a safe environment there at home, as much as they can possible. Luke Liddon standing by live. I mean, this is a tall order to do social distancing like this.
Yeah, it is, Eric, but it's still pretty exciting stuff, right? Fans at an NFL game, who knew we would ever get to this point, but yet here we are as the Panthers announced they will allow around 5,000 or so fans inside Bank of America Stadium this Sunday, about 7% of the stadium's capacity when the Panthers take on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, keep in mind, all fans in attendance and staff as well must wear masks, and a number of other safety protocols will be in place. The inside of the stadium will look a little different, too, with new signs and safety guidelines reminding fans on a constant basis everywhere they look. In fact, Honeywell partnered with the Panthers to give all fans personal protective equipment and keep them safe come game day. Honeywell Senior Vice President Jeff Kimball commented on the news saying, quote, "We're all excited to bring back a bit of normal, and we're pleased to be able to do that through our partnership with the Carolina Panthers for the 2020 NFL season. We get to not only support our hometown team, but also to provide a safer environment and peace of mind for the players, patrons, and staff that are eager to return home games, with cheering fans," end quote. So this is certainly a gradual step in the right direction. Got to be safe, got to keep everyone in their properly social distance zones within the stadium, but some fans are better than no fans, right? And kickoff this Sunday at 1 p.m. down at Bank of America Stadium.
All right, it's time for your 4 to 5 roundup right now. A new law is going to effect in California following that plane crash that killed Kobe Bryant and 8 others. It is now a crime for first responders to take unauthorized photos of victims at the scene of incident. Now, the law follows reports of graphic photos being shared of victims after the January crash. 8 deputies are accused of taking photos, according to the sheriff, and those deputies were ordered to erase the photos. The sheriff adds the department has a policy against taking photos at a crime scene, but the policy did not extend to scenes of an accident. The law goes into effect January 1st, and violators could face up to a $1,000 fine. House Democrats revealed another coronavirus relief bill. That bill offers more than $2 trillion in aid, with $600 per week in pandemic unemployment benefits and a second round of $1,200 stimulus checks. State and local governments would get more than $400 billion. Colleges and universities would receive more than $200 billion, and businesses could receive additional aid in the Paycheck Protection Program.
Well, listen to this. Schools in Rock Hill, South Carolina are committing to mask breaks for students. School leaders voted last night to allow 10-minute breaks for each hour for elementary school students as long as they're spaced out 6 feet. Middle and high school students will get a 10-minute break during each period. Students can also take their masks off during PE and band classes, and pre-K students can remove their masks during nap time. Before the vote, students and staff were required to keep masks on at all times on school grounds except during lunch and recess.
So let's bring you into the conversation today. I asked you on Facebook what you thought of that school district's decision. Let's see what you had to say. First comment comes from Sharon, who says, I think giving mask breaks is a good idea. We as adults have a hard time keeping on masks. I was a teacher and know how difficult it would be for littles. If they can social distance, there is no reason this won't work. Robin says it's a very bad decision. I think they're testing to see what happens. Wanda says, I guess they will be next in line to close their doors for COVID-19. The teachers and other kids will be getting it. Betty says, I think it is almost a necessity. I cannot wear one for long at a time, but then I am very old. And Linda Johnson says, as long as they are 6 feet apart and at their desk, it should be okay. Now, I can see where people are coming on both sides here, because the whole point of being able to open the school right at the beginning was everyone would be social distancing and wearing the mask. But now if they aren't wearing a mask at a certain point of day, is it defeating the purpose of wearing a mask? But if you're social distancing, so you can kind of just go around in a circle.
I would say that I think it will be very difficult, especially for elementary school students, to keep their mask on for the duration of the school day. And if providing a break helps them keep it on when it absolutely has to be on, I think this is a good idea. We lost Chilton's audio there, but we will check in with him in just a moment. In the meantime, you can continue to weigh in on this. Join our conversation on Facebook and use our hashtag 4to5.
All right, so check this out. You might be getting this envelope in the mail. It's from Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's a gift card. That's right, there's a card with money on it in there. Anywhere from $100 to $500. This is going to 600,000 mailboxes from October 19th to November the 1st.
And Tanya, it makes me do a double take, because you see an insurance company is giving customers money to spend.
I know, right? And folks are thinking, all right, what is the catch here? Are my premiums going to go up because I'm getting this gift card? Here's the answer from the CFO.
It'll allow them to basically buy household, food, health, wellness expenses at various retail shops. These cards were a fast, flexible way to share the funds without impacting their premiums. This will not cause customers' premiums to increase.
All right, so that's the good news. Where can you use the card? Some of the big name retailers include Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Dollar General, and Family Dollar. What cannot you use it for? Your insurance premiums, co-pays, deductibles, prescription drugs, tobacco, alcohol, and firearms. The card will simply reject any purchases of these items. So we want you to check out our web story in the Who Wants to Know section to see how much you could be getting and to make sure that you're eligible. All right, we know you have many questions when it comes to COVID-19. At 5:30, Guilford County's Public Health Director will join us to answer those questions. What we want you to do is text us your questions, 336-379-5775. You can ask her questions about, hey, when this business or my workplace has a COVID positive test, why doesn't it all close? Why doesn't everyone get to know? She's the one to answer your question.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, cool.
And welcome back to your 4 to 5. So the CDC is recommending virtual Thanksgiving dinners, especially for families who normally travel during the holidays. So they rated the risk factors here, and you can take a closer look. Having a small dinner is a low risk factor. Having a meal outside with your friends or your family is a moderate risk, but a large indoor dinner is considered high risk. So many of you are reacting to the suggestion on our Facebook page. Jalen Gilkey is joining us once again. Jalen, are people saying that these risk factors of the CDC guidance is going to change their Thanksgiving plans?
Maddie, to be honest, this post here got everyone at home very, very fired up. Doesn't look like many are trying to adhere to the CDC suggestions. Let's jump to our first comment. It comes from Bobby. Bobby says, enjoy as you always would. Next, we have a comment from Tori. Tori says, they will not be stopping me from gathering around the table with my family after a day full of cooking. It won't be on Turkey Day because I have to work that holiday, but it will be the weekend after. Our next comment comes from Donald. He said, this is getting out of hand. Leave the holidays alone. I mean, come on. Next, a comment from Sue. She says, tell that to the people I personally know that are dead. Jerry Lee, Jose, Mike, Mrs. Copeland. No known underlying conditions. We would like to extend our deepest condolences to the family members of those who have passed from the virus. And our last comment comes from Amanda. She says, I'm going to do the exact same thing I've done every year. The CDC needs to just stop. People are over it already. And I just want to say this, if you guys are planning
extended family, but if you can keep it to the folks who live in your home or who you've been around or have spent time around over the last several months, it's probably the better thing to do. And then, I don't know, you start messing with holidays and I know people get, kind of antsy about it, but maybe if things are better and things trend a little better towards Christmas, maybe you can do something or branch out a little more toward then.
Now we just keep our fingers crossed and keep sending prayers up that this all just goes away magically by the time the holidays come around, because of course no one wants to have to change plans or traditions. That's not fun, but we also want people to stay safe. All right, we're coming right back. More of the 4 to 5 after this.
Nine, 10, mic check, hello. Do my words match my lips?
Mic check, I rebooted. Can you hear me? 1, 1, 2, 2. All right.
Well, thankfully, we haven't seen anything too big or bad yet across the Triad. Continuing to track a line of rain and storms as it does move across the Triad. Take a look at this picture from Albemarle. This is from Allison McDowell. This is a rotating storm. It didn't have a tornado warning on it, but it was spinning a little bit. And some of these storms have the ability to do that. So that's one thing that we're going to be watching closely as we head over the next couple hours. The line of rain and storms really starting to move over the Triad right now, with blinding rain from High Point really starting to move over downtown Greensboro. This is going to be the heaviest rain and the strongest winds that we see with this storm. Winds gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour in Greensboro right now. But after this thing moves out of here by about dinner time, I think we're done with it by about 7 o'clock, and we start clearing out quite quickly. You can see where that front has already moved through. Quite a diverse temperature map in the 50s back to the west, still in the upper 70s in the Triad and points east. Once this gets out of here, it's nice weather for the rest of the week. Crisp, cool, and a bit breezy tomorrow. Sunny and staying in the 60s.
All right, so most of us are not old enough to remember radio dramas, but there's one group locally who is cranking up the flux capacitor and taking us back in time. Yeah, the group of playwrights from the Greensboro Playwrights Forum. They're teaming up with others from around the state, and they're producing a series of Halloween-themed radio shows during the month of October. Organizer Todd challenge for the writers.
Typically, a playwright would think to write in stage directions that refer specifically to sound. But with a radio play, that's very essential because the action is never going to be seen, so it has to be described. So it's fun, but challenging to think of, what does this individual action of a car door slamming sound like?
So the radio shows will air on Saturdays for most of the month, beginning on October 10th. And Fisher says this is a meticulous process.
We did a master take on Zoom for tempo. And then that's kind of a blueprint. And then my actors and all the actors went away separately and recorded their individual audio files. And there was different methods for that too. Some did line by line, some did a whole page as one file. And then the magic really happens in the editing room.
So if you want to listen, I think you would. This sounds pretty cool. We've got all the information. Look for this story on our website, WFMYnews2.com. So with scary movies in mind, or scary things, I asked you on Facebook, what do you think is the scariest movie of all time? A lot of you are in agreement here. Let's start out with MD. He's a regular here. He goes, I can't pick one, but I will say The Exorcist. I saw that in the theaters. I also saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the theaters. That was scary, he says. Elizabeth said The Exorcist, hands down. There's a lot of that going around in this particular thread. Steve Dick says Alien, and as a TV guy myself, Videodrome creeped me out for days after. I don't know that one. Ben Radall said Red Dawn, and then Lynn said the scariest movie I've ever seen was An Experiment in Terror. The Henry Mancini soundtrack was pretty awesome also. And my favorite comment of the day from Eileen, she said the scariest movie ever, My Wedding Video. There you go. I don't know what to say to that one. I love that. It's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Wow, I love that comment. Okay, so I don't watch scary movies. I don't need any of that in my life. However, Tahisha Moise tricked me last year. She invited me over. Tahisha, I know you remember this. You invited me over to your apartment to watch a movie, Scream, and you said it's not scary, and it was scary. And I was scared.
Well, Maddie, you know what? I hadn't seen it either, so I think I was confusing my movies, thinking one movie was another. So I was with you. It was a little much for me. The blood didn't look too real, though. I will say that.
I don't need any of that in my life. I don't want it. My mind is already a scary enough place without films putting more scary things in there.
I would have been videoing.
She tricked me. She's like, come over, we'll watch a movie. I'm thinking we're going to watch Hocus Pocus.
No.
Or It's the
I
Great
do not
Pumpkin,
accept that
Charlie
narrative.
Brown.
No.
Okay, we'll see. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
Yes, mic check 1, 2, 3. The rain is really coming down outside my window. Looks sideways.
Seriously.
Hey there, 1, 2, 3. Storms are moving through, but they're not severe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Callie, 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 Callie. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's check, 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 1, 2. It's raining, it's pouring.